I really give respect to the Interfaith Montgomery group for having the courage to be open to alternative perspectives, although you'll find out many of the perspectives are the same, just a different presentation, right? My name is Adeyela Bennett. I am a chief in the Yoruba tradition of Southwest Nigeria. There are 200 million Yoruba descendants. We all consider ourselves children of Oduduwa. Oduduwa is considered the father of the Yoruba nation. And we are mostly in Nigeria. I think that there are about 50 million Yorubas in Nigeria itself, in Southwest Nigeria. Lagos, which is the most famous, Ile-Ife, which is considered the source, the home, is Ile-Ife. There's Oshogbo, which is part of Osun State. There's Ibadan, which is an educational capital. So there are about 50 million Yorubas in Nigeria. But Brazil has the next largest number. Brazil has about 30 million Yoruba descendants. And obviously that happened through the slave trade. Through the slave trade, Yorubas, along with other Africans, were forcefully removed from their homes and taken to other parts of the world. Obviously that is a tragedy. Was a tragedy, and we're still suffering the effects of it. But the good thing is now Yorubas are everywhere. But Yorubas would have been everywhere anyway, because Yorubas are in China, in Japan, in Germany, in Russia. My own spiritual godfather, Chief Dr. Omotosho Oloye, at age 18, got on a plane and went to Russia to study. So Yorubas are the explorers, really, of the world. we love people, which by hospitality is such a perfect topic because Yorubas love people. Yorubas are also in Cuba, Venezuela, and I'm talking about practicing Yorubas, and I'll tell you how they're practicing. Cuba, Venezuela, Mexico, Guatemala, Trinidad and Tobago, Jamaica, Haiti. I'm from the Bahamas. There are a few Yorubas there. As I mentioned, Europe. There are lots of Yorubas in England, in France, in Germany, in Russia. You name it, we are there. Now, in the New World, and to tell you the truth, even in Africa, even in Nigeria, Yorubas a lot of times go underground. While Yorubas are some of the most hospitable people in the world because of anti-Blackness, I'll put it that way, because of anti-Blackness and anti-Africanness, then we are made to feel like we are that we are too different, and people are afraid. So people are afraid of something that they consider to be different, but in fact, we're your brothers and sisters. Yorubas have never found a father, an older person that they have not called father, Baba. They've never found an older woman that they will not consider their mother, Iya or Yeye. Everybody's their brother, everybody's their sister. So in fact, we are the kings and the queens of hospitality. So I'm so honored to speak on that topic. Before I go any further, I'd like to give respect to Interfaith Montgomery. I'd also like to give respect to my own spiritual lineage and biological lineage. So I have water. Water, as you know, is the source of life. 70 to 80% of the world consists of water. We believe that before human beings came to the earth, it was all water, it was just water. And so we always go back to the source. If you don't mind, I'd like to pour libation, which is how we begin our presentations. Omi tutu, ile tutu, una tutu tutu loroye. Akoda mojuba o, asheda mojuba o, akodeye mojuba o. Iba Oludamari, maker of heaven and earth, the seas, the skies. Iba Olokun, owner of the ocean, the waters of waters. Iba all Yeye, Iba Iyami, Osorongo, Iba Yeye Oshunore, Yeye, Iba Yeye Yemanja, mother of the fish, mother of us all. Iba Oya, Yeye Oya, mother of the winds. Iba Baba Mi, Iba Baba Mi, Iba Baba Mi, Iba Baba Mi Ubatala, Iba Baba Mi. Sacred one of the white cloth, Iba Baba Yurumala, Iba Kabiesi Baba Shango, Iba Ogun, Iba Ochosi Isai, Iba Baba Luaye. I say Iba regards to all my mothers. I have a whole list of my mothers: Esther Ward Barnett, Hilda Ward, Auntie May, Auntie Sylvia, Auntie Millie, Auntie Louise, Auntie Sister Mella, Auntie Eva, Auntie Lillian, Auntie Di, Auntie, all the aunties who raised me. So many of them raised me. Iba to my fathers: Preston Hilton Albury, Vernon Edmund Ford, Bob Barnett, Uncle William, Uncle Leanda, Bala Ralph, Bala Fred, and to all the uncles and fathers who raised me, which there are many, because as we all know, it takes an entire village to raise a child. Today, my topic is hospitality. So what is hospitality in the African traditional spirituality worldview? I will speak, as I've mentioned, from the Yoruba perspective, because there are many, many nations in Africa, right? And they're not all the same. Now, West Africa, mostly the same, but there are some differences. So I'll target it on the one that I know the best. So with the Yoruba worldview, we value guests. And a guest into your home, you tell them, my home is your home. My home is your home. So you come, you eat. The first thing you do when you have any guests in the Yoruba community is you offer them water. Because we talked about water is the source of life. So we offer water. If you go into a Yoruba home and they don't offer water, they probably don't want you there. But they'll offer you water. Next, they can offer you something harder. Emu or palm wine is the traditional drink. It comes from the palm tree. But palm wine is a taboo for many people, particularly me. Really, all liquors are taboo for me. But they offer white hard liquor such as OT. OT is the Yoruba word, such as gin. So gin is commonly offered, but you have to start with the water, then you can go into the gin or anything else. After a person, perhaps the visitor is dirty, right? So you want to make sure that they can wash their hands, give them an opportunity to soapy up and lather off only their hands, their feet, their hands, their face, their feet, and then we get into the food. And so wherever your guest is from, you offer them food from their homeland. So let's say you try your best to offer them from their homeland. So if it's another Yoruba person, a favorite food is pounded yam. So yam is a yam. You peel the yam, you boil it, and you pound it. These days, fortunately, they have it in a powder in a bag. And then you stir it, and it turns into nice, like a dumpling, a big dumpling. God, I'm hungry thinking about it. And you dip it in a sauce. So you use your fingers. So that's why like cleanliness is important, because you're eating out of the same bowl, the stew. And so you're dipping that in and eating it. And a favorite one is egusi stew, which is made from the egusi, the melon seed. So they take the melon seed and pound it and make it into a paste, and add vegetables, usually spinach. And then depending on your wealth, you can add a bunch of different meats. So there's a brother in town, Lade, his mother, when she makes me egusi, she puts all kinds of stuff in it. She puts fish, and chicken and turkey and beef. It's like, fortunately she's a Muslim. I say fortunately, so she doesn't add pork, because I don't eat pork. But she has all this different meat, and that, the wealthier the person, the more they can put in it. But really, it can be as simple as some chicken. Some chicken is the simplest best. So that's if you're having a Yoruba guest. If you have a guest from the Bahamas, what do you think you want to have if you're from the Bahamas? If you're from the Bahamas, if you have a guest from the Bahamas, what would you serve your guests from the Bahamas?
I don't know.
Plantains?
Okay, yeah.
Plantains? Pescado, fish. Fish or conch. Anywhere in the Caribbean, you know what we like best? Rice and peas, or peas and rice. You gotta have some rice. So you feed your guest food from their homeland. That's, of course, it's an expected guest. Now, let me tell you something about Bahamians who are descendants of Odua. They just pop out. So you don't know that. They come unannounced. They literally will call you from the airport or from the boat to say, "I here at the airport, come pick me up." So then you somehow find some conch and you make them their conch. So you welcome them, Ekabo, welcome. Some basic Yoruba greetings are, if it's in the morning, you say Karo. Now, if the person's older than you, or you really want them to know that you respect them, because respect is the number one thing in African traditions. Do you hear me? You can start wars over people feeling disrespected. So you respect those who are older than you, and you respect those who are younger than you. You respect those with titles, those without. You better respect everybody because it's the thing. So you add in front of it. So cabo is welcome to someone you really respect or an elder. Caro is good morning. It's just caro, but you add the in the afternoon is kasan or kasan. Good afternoon. And the evening is kale, or you add definitely kale. Good evening. We never say really goodbye in Yoruba because the hope is that we meet again. So Odabo, it's like until we meet again, because we're going to meet again. Earlier we had our Oloye Ifabeleke speak about Odu. You talked about an Odu, and I'm going to tell you what that is. The Yoruba spirituality is considered to be oral, and it is oral. And that's because there are so many secrets. Yorubas have got to be the most secretive people in the world. I'm sure there's somebody out there saying, oh my God, I can't believe she's telling them this. Very, very secretive. And so there are things written, but it's hidden, right? Because of, and there's some basis for that. Because of all the artifacts that have been stolen and are in museums and not really for the benefit of the people. So I'm guessing that's where it came from, this culture of secretivity, yeah. So I want to talk about, so the Odu are the scriptures, what we would call the scriptures of the Yoruba faith. There are 16 Odu, 16 children of Orunmila. Orunmila was the original prophet. Orunmila was considered short, black man. He was not biracial or anything. He was black. Orunmila, short black man. And he went around the entire world spreading the Yoruba faith. We believe that Orunmila is the prophet who inspired, I believe, because I don't want other Yoruba to say, I don't believe that. But I believe that Orunmila is the prophet who inspired all of the great prophets and all of the great religions of the world, all of them. Because Orunmila went around, his task was to go around the world and take the message of God. So it's so funny when some people say, and my daughters had a 5th grade teacher who told them, well, the slavery was good. There's a teacher here. Slavery was good because they had free clothing, a free place to live, free food, and we taught them about God. Let me tell you, one thing Africans got is they got God. So they got God, right? So Orunmila is the prophet who went around the world teaching about Olodumare, the supreme being. So there's an Odu. I want to say Warrior Shea, but I won't start with that because I'm not. I'll start with the Ogbe. So these 16 children of Orunmila are the scriptures. There are 16 of them, and then those 16 multiply. They intermarry, and they multiply, and we end up with 16 times 16. And it's a binary code, very similar to the computer system, where you have ones and twos. Mm-hmm. Everything is ones and twos. So this is 10. This is at least 10. There's paperwork going back 10,000 years, but this is older than 10,000 years old. But let's say 10,000 years old. So 10,000 years ago, at the earliest, we already had the binary code of ones and twos, and those are the Odus. And so each one of them has vast knowledge. The Odus can teach you about everything: science, mathematics, biology, history, genealogy, anything you want to know is there in this Ifa binary code. So I want to tell you about the one, Ogbe. Ogbe is about how you behave as a guest. So it's given that when you are the host, you're going to provide water, you're going to provide hard drink, you're going to provide food, you're going to give up your best bed. I remember when I was pregnant with my first daughter, she's now in her 30s, Ayinola, and so we had a guest visit from Nigeria. He was an older man, chief, a very important person, and my husband at the time said, I know you're pregnant, but can you give up your bed? I'm like, you want me to give up my bed? Well, And I offered to give up my bed. I said, for sure, I'm going to offer to give up my bed. And for sure, this man is going to say, no, I can't take a bed from a pregnant woman. You're not going to. Sure enough, he says, oh, thank you. And he took my bed. I slept on the couch for like and this is one of those guests who stayed.
That would have been a converting experience.
I know. So you give. So the rules are clear about how you behave as a host. You give up your best. To your guest. You treat every guest like they're your mother or your grandmother. You give them the best food. You pull out the best. You have lamb. You have goat. You have snapper. Whatever's your best, you give your guests. Okay. But Eji Ogbe teaches how to be a visitor. So Orumla had Olodumare God had a feast to name which one of these 16 children, which one of these 16 Odu will become king. Because Yoruba is also very hierarchical, right? Everybody wants to have a title. Everybody's a king, a queen, Oba, Oloye, there is a chief, Oloye. The people, they love titles. So which one of you will be the king of the Odu, of the 16? And so the 16 are Eji Ogbe, Oyeku Meiji, Iwori Meiji, Odi Meiji, Irosu Meiji, Owori Meiji, Obara Meiji, Okanra Meiji, Ogunda Meiji, Osa Meiji, Ika Meiji, Otarupa Meiji, this is the problem you have when you try to name all 16. Otura Meiji, Baba, Otura Meiji, Ireti Meiji, Ose Meiji, and Ofo Meiji. So these are the 16. Now Ofo Meiji, who you see I named last, is the eldest. So generally you would think which one is going to become king? The eldest. So Ofo Meiji got dressed up. Yorubas like to do the whole thing of throwing the thing around, tying the thing, taking it off and tying it again and throwing it off and having all the beads. Ofo Meiji came dressed, ready to be named Oba, the king of the Odu. And so they all came. All of them came. They dressed in their finest attire. They wore their bracelets, which we call Ide, which they wore their leke, the beads. They're dressed, ready to go. But the youngest one, Eji Ogbe, reminds me of my daughter Bree. Anybody knows Bree? That Bree is always, so she's going somewhere, she's always late.
Oh, late.
I think it's funny that it took a while for someone to say late.
They were being polite.
They were late to respond to you.
No, they were being polite. Because she has a reputation, it's a solid reputation.
Okay.
She is always late. So Bree's like Eji Ogbe, late. But he was late for cause. He was late because he stopped to talk to his father, Rumala. He says, Rumala, Olodumare God invited us to this feast, and he's going to name one of us king and father. What is your message for me? Please give me your blessing. So that's why he was late. He stopped, and his father gave him things to do. In Yoruba faith, you always have to give up something to get what you want. Okay, you have to give up your time, your money, your talents. You got to give up something. It's called sacrifice or ebo. So he told him the ebo what he had to give up to perform. So he did all that, and so by the time he got there, the only thing that's left, they served fish. They had a big old fish. And the only thing that was left was what? Because now 15 other people ate. The head.
Yeah.
The head. The only thing that's left is the head. And all those bones, but the head. And my grandfather, Paul Ward, my grandfather used to always say, the head is the most important part of the fish. When you go to somebody's house, so this is a while that he would know this. My grandfather, who was a descendant of Barbados, so even though I'm from the Bahamas, my grandfather's father is from Barbados. He was a young man who, at that time, I'm talking like, I guess the turn of the century, people from the colonies, from the British colonies, would go to England to be educated because they didn't have universities at that time in the Caribbean. So he went to England to be educated, and He became a teacher. He got an education degree, and his first assignment was to go to the Bahamas. So he ended up in San Salvador, Bahamas, and met my great-grandmother, and that's how my grandfather is from Barbados, originally, even though he was born in the Bahamas. So if you do research on Bahamian names, Ward rarely, you would appreciate this, being a genealogist, Ward hardly comes up because it's not really a Bahamian name. It's, I mean, these are all British names, but it's a British name from Barbados. So you know, you didn't know that part, that my mother's father is from Barbados. So, my mother's father's from Barbados. That's somebody, are you putting at the time? Oh, sorry. I'm almost finished. So the fish, so my grandfather used to always encourage us to eat the head of the fish is the point. But in this case, all that's left is the fish. So what choices did A.G. Ogbe have? He could have what?
Not eating.
He could have not eaten anything. Like, you just left me the fish? Excuse me? No, I don't want it. Or he could have done what?
Eating the fish?
He could have eaten the fish,
Yeah.
right? He could have had an attitude about it, or he could have been humble about it. A.G. Ogbe was humble about it. He took that fish head, he sucked that eyes out. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. That's how we eat it. It's like those eyes out, sucked all that guck out. It's so nice. He enjoyed that head of fish, and he sat back. It's like, that was good. That was good. And so Ludamari, looking down, says, I have made my decision about who I will name the king of the Odu. And guess who did he name? Did he name Ofunmeji, the oldest one? No, he named A.G. Ogbe, the youngest one, because he ate, he had the humility to eat the head of the fish. He didn't complain, he enjoyed it. He was a humble guest. So that teaches us how to be a guest.
That's really interesting.
That teaches you how to be a guest. Whatever your host provides you, thank you. Whatever your host provides you, you take it with humility. There are other Odus that talk about, I think it's Obara Major, there are Odus that talk about, you never throw away a gift. You don't throw away a gift. I almost want to think it's Obara Major that talks about this father gave a gift to his son, and his son's like, oh my God, this old thing, and he threw this old thing away. And somebody else passed by, found it, opened up, there are diamonds in it.
All right.
Right, there are diamonds. So you accept, as a host, as a guest, you accept what's given to you with graciousness. I want to talk about Awori Meiji. That Odu talks about being a guest that overstays. We lived in the United Arab Emirates. These cups, in fact, are from the United Arab Emirates. Touch me, you appreciate that. And one of the things that we learned there is, and my husband's mother, my current husband, Brad, his mother had, the first time I met her, well, the first time I went to her house, she says, listen, I will treat you like a queen for how many days?
5.
Not that many.
Right.
3 days. 3 days. I will treat you like a queen for 3 days. And after that, you may consider leaving. And I was like, oh my God, this woman is something else. Which she is beautiful and wonderful. But also, in Islam, they teach it also to be a guest for 3 days. Muhammad teaches to, peace be upon him, to be a guest for 3 days. So Awori Meiji talks about being this guest that overstayed his welcome. So this woman had a meeting, and in the meeting she learned a divination that turned her, don't have any guests in your house. So that's very anti-Yoruba culture, but not to have anybody sleep over in your house. They can come and visit, but they gotta go. Let them go before that. So this guest comes, he said his car broke down, he's so tired, and he's so hungry, and of course she offers him to take a bath, she gives him water, she gives him gin, she gives him food, and then after all that he's like, oh, I'm a little tired. Do you mind if I spend the night? She wants to say no because she was advised not to have anybody spend the night, but she goes, okay, just one night. Fine. She gets up in the morning, he has swept, I don't know if any of you are from the country, but we sweep the yard in the front, you sleep. So he'd swept the yard, he'd washed her car, mixing up time periods. But he cooked breakfast, and man, she's like, oh, wow. And then nighttime came, and he's like, can I spend another night? And went on and on and on. He was very useful, very, very helpful, did all these tasks that went and got water. You know, this is the time when you had to go to the pump and get the water, and he'd get the water and bring it on, and pounded that yam for her. He was very useful, but he would not leave. And so she finally went to Orumla and said, Orumla, I don't know how to get this guest out of my house. And says, well, remember, you weren't even supposed to have the guest stay in your house. And she goes, but you know the culture, right? So you don't let the culture take precedence over your spirituality. But the culture says that but you were advised not to. Bottom line, Orumla was able to decipher that this guest was like a wine, like a snake that had wine. When I say wine, I mean help me spell wine.
W-I-N-D.
Vine.
V-I-N-E, like a vine. Like a vine. This guest was like a vine that had just seeped through the plumbing system, through the pipes. This guest was everywhere. It just implanted himself into her life, and that she could not get rid of him. And so that's a warning to the guest not to overstay your welcome. Don't stay too long. You know, you come, you eat, you chit chat, and you leave. You know, don't overstay your guests. But also to us, again, that the spirituality takes more precedence than the culture. And the final Odo I want to talk about, I think it's Oloye Oshe. I wasn't sure about that. Give the respect. That tells us to give without respect of the person. Okay, so it's easy, so weird. Oprah Winfrey talks about when she was poor, nobody gave her nothing. Nobody gave her nothing, anything. But when she became a millionaire, people are sending her Louis Vuitton shoes, Gucci purses. People want to give her diamond rings. Right? She's rich and she doesn't need us to send her anything because she has it all. But Oloye Oshe, I think, talks about don't give without being respectful of persons. Because I want to tell you a story about Obatala, who's the king of all the Orisha. He's the creator, he wears white. And so one day, his son is Shango Kabiyesi, the king, and so he wants to go visit his son. But it's a long journey. He gets close to, he's supposed to always be in spotless white. But his clothes gets dirty on the way. Eshu comes and spills palm oil. Palm oil is a big taboo, which really represents dirt and your character. So we get really caught up into, let me tell you, Yorubas get really caught up into the colors. Colors are big. And Obatala children love their sparkling white. And we're so proud that we got all our white on. It means I'm very pure and very, very elevated. I'm very spiritual. But we forget to talk about your character. So purity of character. That's what it's talking about, purity of character. But so Obatala gets all dirtied up on his way. He gets to the palace. The palace guards don't recognize him because he's dirty and he's not sparkling white. And they won't let him in. And so he just sat there at the gate. And then there was storms and pestilence and rumors of wars and all kinds of calamity and poverty and racism and discrimination and the Holocaust and all these things happened. And the son Kabiyesi says, let me go check with Orumla. Why are those things happening in my community? He checked and he says, because you disrespected your father. And he's like, how did I disrespect my father? It's like, you disrespected. Bottom line, he found out his father was disrespected because he was left at the gate. So you are good to all your guests. Respect it, whether they're Oprah Winfrey or whether they're that poor homeless, housing challenged person on the street that you give without respecting the status of the person. In fact, the person who needs more, you give them more, and not the person who has everything that they need. And so I want to wrap it up because I could talk forever, but I think I have overstayed my time. But but the bottom line is that Yorubas and all African people pride themselves in being hospitable, welcoming, friends and strangers alike. But as guests, we also have the responsibility to not overstay our welcome and to eat what is given to us, accept whatever gift is given to us, and that we as the host should respect and be kind and overly generous. As much as kind as we would be to our grandmother, be that to every guest that we have. But also remember that spirituality is more important than the culture. Just always remember that at all times. To keep your relationship with God first, Oludamare, first and foremost. Thank you very, very much.